In the Ripa Consuelos household, life has never been what anyone would call quiet. Between Kelly's quick wit, Mark's smooth charm, and their three children's lively personalities, it often feels like a sitcom without cameras. But one story in particular has made its way to the family's highlight reel: the time Kelly Ripa's oldest son, Michael, was left, quite literally, pulling his teeth out. Of course, this isn't a horror tale. It's a mix of comedy, chaos, and the kind of family anecdotes that become legendary once everyone is old enough to laugh about them. The beginning of the dental drama. Michael Consuelos, now known for carving his own career path as an actor and writer, wasn't always the composed young man we see today. Like every kid, he went through the awkward phase of baby teeth falling out at inconvenient times. But, according to Kelly, Michael had an unusual streak of independence, even when it came to dentistry. Where other kids begged their parents to tie strings to doorknobs or visited the dentist in tears, Michael decided early on that he would take matters into his own hands. If a tooth was loose, it wasn't going to wobble around in his mouth for weeks. He would grip it, yank, and move on with his day. But this tendency soon turned into something of a family tradition or nightmare, depending on who you ask. Kelly's side of the story. Kelly Ripa is never shy about telling the most personal stories of her family life on air. Viewers have seen her discuss everything from her daughter Lola's sassy teenage years to her husband Mark's tendency to misplace his glasses. When it came to Michael's dental adventures, she painted a picture of a boy so determined to speed up nature that the tooth fairy herself could barely keep up. He was like his own dentist, Kelly once joked, recalling the mornings when Michael would walk into the kitchen holding a tissue and calmly announce, "Another one." According to her, Michael's philosophy was simple: why wait for a tooth to fall out when you can take control of the situation? It was a philosophy that made the rest of the family cringe, especially Lola, who was known to scream, "EW Michael, that's disgusting," every time a tooth hit the tissue. Mark's reaction. Mark Consuelos, ever the cool-headed dad, didn't share the same squeamishness. In fact, he encouraged Michael's fearless approach. Growing up in an old-school household himself, Mark believed kids should be tough and self-sufficient. "Honestly, I was impressed," he admitted once in an interview. "I wasn't pulling out my own teeth at that age." The kid had guts. But while Mark applauded his son's independence, Kelly worried. Was this safe? Was he yanking them out too early? What if he caused damage? Of course, the pediatric dentist assured her that children often wiggle or pull their own teeth, but for Kelly, the image of Michael casually popping out molars like Tic Tacs never stopped being unsettling. The family legend, the double pull. The story that solidified Michael's reputation as the family's unofficial dental surgeon came one summer evening during a family trip. The Consuelosis were gathered around the dinner table when Michael, then about 8 years old, announced that he had not one but 2 loose teeth. Before Kelly could even suggest patience, Michael reached into his mouth, gave one tooth a tug, and plopped it down on his napkin. A collective gasp echoed around the table. Lola hid under her chair. Joaquin, the youngest, started crying. And then, as if starring in his own action movie, Michael declared, "Why stop at 1?" and went for the second. The result? Another tooth in the napkin and Kelly nearly fainting on the spot. Mark, meanwhile, gave him a proud pat on the back, muttering, "That's my boy." From that moment on, the tale of the double pull became family legend, a story trotted out at gatherings, told with equal parts horror and admiration. The Tooth Fairy's Dilemma. One of the funniest consequences of Michael's rapid-fire dental extractions was the strain it put on the Tooth Fairy. Normally, children lose teeth in a slow trickle over several years. Michael, however, seemed to be losing them in batches. Kelly once joked on Live that the Tooth Fairy nearly went bankrupt keeping up with him. There were nights she had to borrow from the Easter Bunny, Kelly quipped. And, of course, Michael caught on. After a particularly lucrative week in which he pulled out 3 teeth in 5 days, he asked suspiciously, "Mom, is the Tooth Fairy real, or is she just really rich?" Growing up and looking back. Now that Michael is an adult, the tooth-pulling saga is a favorite family memory. He laughs at the idea that he traumatized his siblings and proudly claims he saved his parents hundreds of dollars in dental visits. But he also admits that, in hindsight, it was a little extreme. "I don't know what was wrong with me," he has joked. "I think I just liked the drama of it." Kelly, on the other hand, insists the habit was an early sign of his work ethic and determination, qualities that serve him well in his career today. "If Michael wants something, he doesn't wait around for it," she says, even if that something is a tooth. Why the story resonates. Fans of Kelly Ripa adore hearing stories like this because they humanize a family that, from the outside, might look picture-perfect. Despite fame, red carpets, and Hollywood careers, the Ripa Consuelos household has the same messy, bizarre, and hilarious moments every family does. The story of Michael pulling his teeth out is more than just a quirky anecdote. It's about childhood bravery, parental differences in philosophy, sibling dynamics, and the way small moments become treasured memories. The metaphorical tooth puller. Some even see the story as a metaphor for Michael's approach to life. Rather than waiting for opportunities, he takes matters into his own hands. Just as he yanked out teeth before they were ready, he's been proactive about shaping his career, choosing to work behind the scenes in television production and acting instead of relying solely on his famous last name. And for Kelly, that's the ultimate parental reward, not the teeth under the pillow, but the lessons her son carried with him into adulthood. Conclusion. From molars to milestones. The saga of Michael's self-dentistry might make some people wince, but in the Ripa Consuelos household, it's remembered with laughter and pride. What began as a child's impatience became a family fable, retold at dinner parties and interviews, proving once again that sometimes the most outrageous childhood habits reveal deeper truths about who we'll grow up to be. So yes, Kelly Ripa's oldest son Michael was once left pulling his teeth out, but in doing so, he also pulled out a family story that will keep everyone smiling, with all their teeth intact, for years to come.